is going to the Final Four.
The following is a Learfield presentation of the Oregon Sports Network.
And Oregon is going to play in the national championship game.
This is Duck Insider.
We need to get community. We need this thing to be bigger than just our little circle of players and coaches.
Are you kidding me? Touchdown, Oregon.
With 2 seconds on the clock, he hits it!
That's the bigger picture in this thing, allowing the community to celebrate the hard work, blue-collar mentality this group brings to the table.
And the Ducks have won it! The Ducks have won!
We get to struggle together, and we get to have joy together.
Dante will dribble it out! The Ducks are Pac-12 tournament champions!
I am so proud right now to be the head coach at Oregon.
Oregon's a Fiesta Bowl champion in a 12-win season.
This is Duck Insider on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield, presented by OnPoint Community Credit Union. People are the point. Now let's go live to the Country Financial Studio to talk Oregon Duck Athletics.
A new addition to the Oregon football coaching staff. Also a number of post-practice interviews, including the head coach Dan Lanning in just a moment. It is Athletic Director Tuesday and Senior Day for Duck Beach Volleyball. If you're live with us in the 1 o'clock hour, coming up on the start for Oregon Beach Volleyball out at Amazon Park against Bushnell for Senior Day. We're going to talk with Senior Woman Administrator Val Johnson next segment. Talk about a number of different subjects with her. Also, it's Oregon Baseball Game Day. It is a day of action for Oregon women's golf and Oregon acrobatics and tumbling on the road in Azusa tonight. It's round day, because golf, game day for Ducks, meet day for Oregon acrobatics and tumbling, and match day for Oregon volleyball. Everything's a game, right? It's game day across Oregon athletics. Looking forward to it. New addition to the Oregon football coaching staff, and also Coach Lombardi, Duck softball head coach, is going to join us before they head on the road to Arizona. Big series win over Washington over the weekend. Talking with Coach Lombardi in a moment. All right, Oregon football head coach Dan Lanning officially announced the hiring of Rashad Samples as the Ducks' new assistant head coach and running backs coach on Tuesday. Samples joins the Ducks after spending the 23 season as the wide receivers coach and passing game coordinator at ASU. He was the running backs coach for the Los Angeles Rams in 2022 after being hired as the youngest position coach in the NFL. He's 29 years old. Samples will be an FBS assistant head coach for the third time in his career. Spent time as the assistant head coach and running backs coach at TCU in 21 before joining the Rams, following 3 seasons at SMU. Began at SMU in 2019 as an offensive assistant with an emphasis on recruiting, and was elevated to running backs coach and has been viewed as one of the best recruiters and talent developers at the position, well, in the entire country. He's a former receiver, spent 2013 and 2014 at Oklahoma State before transferring to Houston for 15 and 16, then joined Houston's staff as an offensive assistant to begin his career. Looking forward to getting to know Rashad Samples. Assistant head coach, running backs coach, announced today for the Ducks. Now, coming off the practice field, head coach Dan Lanning met with the media, you can imagine, talked a little bit about the new addition to his staff and where the Ducks are at as spring football. We're nearing the midway point, and that spring game just a couple weeks away. Coach Lanning brought to you by the Willamette Valley Cancer Institute and Research Center. Fight like a Duck with exceptional cancer care close to home. Coach Lanning after practice just a little while ago.
With the enthusiasm and effort today at practice, we were able to work some certain situations, got some goal line, got some low red work. Our guys are playing with a lot of energy, right? Got to clean up the execution as we continue to bring these guys along. The one benefit of, the numbers we have right now in the spring is allowing us to do a lot of 2-spot practice stuff, which is getting a lot of guys work and development. We're going to open it up.
How much did you know of Rashad before this past week? And obviously Drew had worked with him before, but how much did that relationship play into things?
Yeah, you always lean on relationships of people that know the guys. And there's several guys on our staff that knew Rashad well. He's a guy I knew of that didn't get to work with personally, but Will's worked with him, Drew's worked with him in the past. Certainly excited. We spent a lot of time trying to find the right guy. Right? And there's a lot of great candidates and tons of people that wanted to be here, right? For us, the pieces that he adds to our program, his experience, even as a young up-and-comer, he's had some great experience. His play as a player, and then that letting carry over to his experience in the NFL, the multitude of positions that he's worked with, made him a really great fit for us, somebody we're really excited about.
He's the latest member of the staff who has a lot of recruiting background in the state of Texas. What further does that say about the program's commitment to having an important footprint there and having a stronghold there.
Yeah, relationships are huge, and ultimately for us, we're going to recruit across the nation, right? So we have to have guys that are good at relationships, not necessarily just good in areas. And Rashad's a guy that's certainly really good in Texas, but he's good at relationships, right? He cares about relationships, and that's going to pay off for us in recruiting. It's going to pay off just as much with our development of our players here.
Did you talk to Kenny at all, either before or after the hire?
Yeah, I always spend a lot of time talking to a lot of people, about any candidate that we pursue. But yeah, certainly did.
We saw him here today. Has he been able to kind of hit the ground running, or what's kind of the process of getting him integrated?
Yeah, it's day one, right? And I've said it here before, you can't eat an elephant in one bite. So he's going to learn as quick as he can. He's on his flight up. He's watching installs on the plane. He's getting ready to roll. It's going to be a lot of early mornings and late nights for him right now, but I know he embraces that, and we'll get him caught up as fast as we can.
How has the running back room dealt with that change? Obviously, that's a big change losing your assistant. How have they kind of adjusted to that?
Yeah, you always watch a group and see, okay, what's the next practice going to look like? What's that next mode? And I'm really proud of the way these guys have attacked it, right? Their focus has been on how can they improve, right? And if they can improve, it improves the team. So these guys are really excited about what lies in front of them. They know the rest of the team and what we have around them, right? And that's something they want to play for and play with. And certainly they're excited about the hire.
What have you seen from Dylan Gabriel this spring so far? How has he adjusted overall just to the environment?
Yeah, just continuing to grow. When you put pads on, you're playing real football, and all of a sudden there's a D lineman that has his hands up, and you're not throwing a route on air anymore, or a pocket breaks down and you got to scramble, right? That changes, and you got to play real football, right? Dylan's done a good job of playing real football, taking care of the ball, understanding where the ball goes, and continue to learn what everybody else around him's doing.
And getting to know him as a person, I mean, what's stood out to you so far?
Yeah, really, a guy that cares about people, right? I think everything that Dylan does, it talks about, who else on this team can he impact? Who else can he influence? Whether it's having the guys over for a meal, whether it's spending time with wide receivers away from football. I think you continue to see, his maturity and the time that he's played.
How do you feel like the players have responded to him?
Yeah, I think very well. I think we got a mature team. You're talking about year 3 of this team. There's certainly a lot of young players on it, but they understand what the standards and the culture has been set. And they're focused on competing for themselves, right? Each guy's got to go out there and do his job, not spend his time worrying about somebody else. But I think they have a lot of confidence in a guy that understands football. Him, Dante, Austin, right, Luke, Brock, all these guys have done a really good job, and whoever's on the field of operating that system.
How did you evaluate Jerion from where he arrived last fall to right now?
He's light years ahead of when he arrived, and he's still got a long ways to go for him to be the player I know he can be, right? I've seen a ton of flash plays. I'm looking for more consistency, with Jerion, but he has got exceptional talent, and he's got the want to. This guy wants to be great, right? And if you have that and you start attacking what you got to continue to improve, right, that's when you can start to separate yourself. Probably a little more focus, play to play, right, and being able to carry that over each play. The next play is the most important play, but really pleased with Jerion so far this spring.
Ted said he's better understanding of the playbook. He's helping the younger guys now. Are you seeing that as well?
Yeah, see better, right? But I want everybody to be doctorates at their position, right? And it takes a while to become a doctor, right? They don't just hand those degrees out, right? You got to go earn it. It takes a lot of class. It takes a lot of time. So, like I said, Jerion's a lot further ahead than when he first got here. He's in much better shape. He's healthier, right? And now it's continuing to master that position.
At that position, then, how can you have so many true freshmen? What do they have to do to show that aptitude, that divulging the playbook at the end of spring to put themselves in position to be players and contributors in the fall?
Yeah, we're going to play as many guys that can play at a high level. So what do they have to do? They have to prove that they can play winning football, right? And that takes a little bit of everything, right? Understanding what your assignment is, being able to execute your assignment, making sure the players around you have confidence in your job.
Like having Ryan walk back around the program?
Yeah, I love having Ryan here. One, obviously Oregon means a little bit more to Ryan, right? Being here as a player, this area, what it means to him, his story about becoming a player here, I think is an amazing story. But just seeing the way that he interacts with our players, right, and is able to see it from a little bit different lens than some of our coaches, I think it's a real benefit.
From last spring to this spring, players like Mateo and Blake and Tatum, what do you think you've seen them grow the most?
Yeah, I think strength, right? I mean, I think if you look at what happened, in the weight room for these guys this offseason, they've all gotten bigger and stronger. And then obviously having a better, feel for what we're trying to accomplish on each play. It's kind of like going from year 1 to year 2 of this defense of where we were able to improve because guys knew what the assignment was. It's not just knowing the call, but now you know the strengths and weaknesses of each call, right? Where you can lose leverage, where you can win leverage. Where are my eyes at pre-snap? All those things have really cleaned up for those guys.
What is having a guy like Keon still around? There's only 2 guys in that 19 class still here, him and Pat. And 2 springs ago, he was one of the D linemen who couldn't take part in spring because of the shoulder injury. What did he mean this past year to be willing to be behind older guys and now to be one of those older guys?
Yeah, I think I saw one of Keon's best practices this past Saturday. Obviously, I haven't been able to watch today's practice film or not, but it's the veteran leadership of what are you expecting, right? Every single play. This guy's the definition of consistency. He does his job. He's not a really loud guy on the field, but when he needs to be, he will be. And I think you can see his maturity there out on the field.
How do you think that having experienced guys like Jordan and Noah in the running back room help with bringing in a new coach this late in the process?
Well, just that. We're not spending a ton of time teaching the plays to Jordan and Noah. We're going to spend that time teaching it to the coach, right? So when those guys are ahead of the curve, they know what we're trying to accomplish. They've been well coached. And then we have, other good coaches around that can continue to pour into that. It's going to allow Rashad to be able to get into that a lot quicker and a lot easier for him.
Former Duck Wyndham Clark making his first Masters appearance later this week. Do you have any plans to tune in and watch that?
I'm going to try to catch as much as I can, right? We'll be busy working and practicing both Thursday and Saturday, but I certainly hope Wyndham goes out there and takes care of business.
What does having the added depth you have in the secondary, particularly the experienced guys now, allow you to do more dime, potentially? Tosh and Chris were talking about that, and who might some of those guys be who could get a crack at it?
Yeah, I think time will tell on that. Right now the depth is what allowed us to practice on 2 fields. It's allowed to work us at guys at multiple positions. We always talk about position versatility in the back end. Potentially could get into more dime, but you always have to figure out what's your best 11 on the field, right? And if we need to do that or carry that, we'll carry it for certain teams. It's not something I really want to attack a ton of in spring, right? We're more focused on us.
Your pass rush was so improved last season, but you got replaced players responsible for nearly half of it. It wasn't all front 7 guys. What do you have to see to identify who some of those guys, who some of those shot callers will be in the fall? What do you have to see in the spring?
Yeah, see it show up in practice, right? Who are the guys that can get to the quarterback in practice, right? And continue to challenge ourselves from a scheme standpoint that's going to allow us to get those sacks. I think we have the guys that can win up front, but we have a really good O-line that we do go against every day, and that's a great indication of where we're at there.
Closing in kind of the midpoint of spring, what broadly has impressed you maybe most about this group?
Yeah, I just think we're with the walkthroughs and the temperament of how we prep, right? It's really put us ahead of the curve where we're not seeing a field with a bunch of MAs, guys making a lot of mistakes, right? It's technical errors that we can clean up, right? It's the compete that we can clean up. But from knowing what my assignment is and my job is, we're a lot cleaner there than we were in year 1 and year 2.
First, it's unique having 2 quarterbacks that both started games last year. What do you want that relationship to be like between Dylan and Dante right now?
I want when they're on the field, they're cheering for the other guy, right? But I want to see that competition continue to show up, right? They're the field general when they're out there on the field, right? Take charge, right? Learn off of each other's mistakes and success, right? That's something you want to see from every one of your positions is when you're on the field, are you getting better? And right when you're not on the field, are you learning from somebody else?
Head coach Dan Lanning meeting with the media, talking about all things Ducks after practice today. Practice number 6 in full pads today. Ducks are back at practice on Thursday. Good question from Tyler on the Facebook feed if you're live with us. Any special guests for the spring game this year? Well, in addition to Matt Carney, who's going to be doing the post-game concert, yeah, I have a feeling there's going to be a lot of big-time guests at the spring game. We'll probably get a few of them on the broadcast. It's always fun. The spring game has become sort of like an Oregon football reunion of sorts, Makes for a fun environment, no doubt about it. More details about the spring game if you missed it on the show yesterday. A lot going on. It's kind of a festive environment, if you will, around the spring game. That's all available for you on GoDucks.com. We'll keep talking about it over the next few weeks. And when we come back, it's senior day for beach volleyball. Earlier today, we sat down with Deputy AD and Senior Women Administrator Val Johnson. That's coming on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
As a local community credit union founded by teachers, OnPoint is committed to supporting the students and faculty at the University of Oregon. And on game day, we're right there with you, on the field, in the bleachers, and in the classrooms. Drop by our local branch today and discover the many ways OnPoint can help support your financial well-being. OnPoint Community Credit Union. People are the point. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal housing opportunity.
Hey Duck fans, we're all about protecting our home turf here in Eugene. You should do the same for your home with Country Financial Insurance. Most home insurance doesn't account for inflation, but with Country Financial, yours can. If something happens to your home, make sure you can rebuild the same house in the same place. Call a local representative or 866-COUNTRY and get a solid defense for your home. Home insurance policies issued by Country Mutual Insurance Company, Country Casualty Insurance Company, or Country Preferred Insurance Company, Bloomington, Illinois. Property must meet age and condition requirements, which vary by state.
Don't go anywhere. Duck Insider continues after these messages on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Sometimes I just cannot believe all the storms we've gone through here.
I can only hope that we'll be able to leave this house to you one day, baby. You're our legacy.
Planning for these disasters will make sure we're safe, and is the best way to protect that legacy.
Protect your legacy. Visit ready.gov/plan for the tools and tips you need to start your emergency preparedness plan today. Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
Hi, I'm Danica Patrick. Watching my nieces grow, play, and learn is amazing, but not every child gets to be carefree. 1 in 6 kids in the U.S. are hungry. This breaks my heart, and it's something that Feeding America is working to change. Each year, the Feeding America network of food banks rescues billions of pounds of good food that would have gone to waste and gives it to families in need. To help, visit feedingamerica.org.
Brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.
Welcome back to Duck Insider, presented by OnPoint Community Credit Union. Joey Mack in the Country Financial Studio. Val Johnson's here.
I'm here.
Hi. Deputy
Hi.
Athletic Director, Senior Women's Administrator. How are things?
Doing great.
Yeah?
You just told me it's going to be 63 and patchy.
That's right. Patchy clouds, I would say, at Amazon
I'm going
Park.
to go with partly sunny.
I like that. See, you're a glass half full kind of person,
I'm a
aren't
glass
you?
half full.
I'm a, when the glass is 2/3 of the way full, I say it's half empty.
Ooh.
Because I always want things to be full, I need a refill.
Yeah. I do that with Diet Dr. Pepper.
See? And that, the right decision. The right decision. It's Beach Volleyball Senior Day. So we were just discussing. So you went hoodie today.
Last year on Senior Day, it was like a downpour.
Yeah.
And so I was a little bit scarred, I think. It was my rookie season last year. It was rookie season. And I vividly remember leaving here, and I wasn't quite prepared. But then I remember it was like Rob was walking towards me. And I remember seeing Rob earlier in the day, and he was in his normal Rob gear. And then I saw Rob coming towards me in a full-on, like, rain pants, rain jacket, hat.
He was prepared.
Umbrella, like, fully prepared. And I was like, when did you do that? I just saw you. And then I saw the Rob Mullins trunk. Whew, that man's prepared. There is no doubt in my mind why he is our fearless leader.
Yeah.
Once you see the Rob Mullins trunk, you know why he's our fearless leader. He is ready and prepared for everything.
So that was rookie season for you.
Yeah.
Now in sophomore season, how's the Val trunk?
I got the Gore-Tex Nikes out there. I got the rain pants, the rain jacket. I got the hat. I got everything. I got the puffy coat.
Yeah.
I threw the puffy coat in today.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm ready for anything from 32 degrees to, take this off. I got short sleeves on. I'm ready.
Yeah.
I'm ready.
I think it was right around my third baseball season I got to the point where I had like 2 full outfits in the car at all times, living in the car. Look, that's just being prepared.
And that's just, it's spring in Oregon.
Right.
Spring in Eugene.
If you don't like the weather in Oregon, just wait 5 minutes.
What was it, last Tuesday, 77?
Yeah.
Could happen again
today. It was beautiful when the Duck baseball team was at Portland. Beautiful day.
Beautiful
Beautiful day.
Yep.
Beach volleyball senior day, though. Senior day is always bittersweet.
Yes.
Always bittersweet.
It is. I always say it's like the most rewarding and like the most sad day. It's like.
Yeah.
It's like I love and hate this part of my job.
Right.
It's like what it's all about. It's about them being a student athlete.
Yep.
It's about them being here to graduate, get their degrees. It's about them competing. It's all those things, and I just become an emotional mess. Because it's like all those things just wrapped up, and it's one day, and their families are here, and their friends are here, and it's just a lot.
I mean, it's a lot, but yes. But worth celebrating, for sure.
100% worth celebrating.
Yeah.
Yes.
But it's emotional for everybody. So I'm a fan of, and I know not every coach does it this way, I like the senior ceremony to happen pre-event. Because you can kind of like get it out, and then it's like, all right, we're going to play.
Yeah.
But then, like, if it's really emotional beforehand, it could impact play.
Completely.
But if you do it afterwards, like, you don't want to do senior celebration, God forbid, after a loss. Right? Like, that's no fun either. How do you do this? Do you have thoughts? Because I have wrestled with this, Val, for 10 years.
I don't know. I'm sitting here and I've seen it.
You've seen it a lot of different ways, right?
Yeah, you've seen it both ways. Where it's just like you just don't know. You have to just go out there and celebrate. And I think, for a lot of student athletes, there is some, I don't want to say denial, but, it's hard. It's denial. Like, this is your last time stepping onto that sand today, at home. And so you kind of want to have that normalcy in a way of just, like, here's like, how you do it. But then it's hard because you don't want to mess up the rhythm of the game,
right.
And I think that's probably where a lot of like the competitor piece comes from, is you don't want to mess up that rhythm. And so that's why I think a lot of teams do it afterwards.
Yeah. Well, coming up, we'll have some updates for you tomorrow, this afternoon at Amazon Park. If you're live with us, make your way out to Amazon Park. Duck volleyball against Bushnell. It is senior day out there. And also women's basketball season, since we last talked, has come to a close.
Yeah.
Off season is... Well, the off-seasons go very differently now than they even did 5 years ago. State of the program, women's basketball headed into another season.
Right. Elephant in the room, as everyone knows, like, this has been probably the most non-traditional off-season for Duck women's basketball. Right. And that's been a tough pill for everyone to swallow. If the fans are having a hard time swallowing that pill, I guarantee you it's going down hard for the staff and the student athletes. And and it's just uncharted territory when you come off of those really high seasons that we've had the privilege to experience, and then to really be not experiencing, especially playing in the postseason. It's a different feeling. It really truly is. And there's some ways to turn that challenge into an opportunity.
Sure.
And one way is, our student athletes were able to get some rest, but then also being able to reflect on what fire that's going to fuel in them as athletes, but then also too for our coaches to really sit back and reflect about what that's going to mean,
right.
What that's going to look like. And there's been a lot of really retrospective conversations about, looking back at this past season, but then also future conversations and forward thinking, planning about what that's going to look like. Obviously, the biggest thing, and you probably have heard Coach Graves say it, is, we got to win March and April.
Right.
And that's what we're working on right now. And that's all about the recruiting game. And I don't know even what the last stat is right now, but I think at the beginning of either last week or this week, there was well over 1,000 Division I women's basketball players in the transfer portal. I think the last time I talked to our staff, if you do the math, that's averaging at least 3 student athletes per institution.
Wow. Boy, that really puts it in perspective, doesn't it?
Right. If you average it. Yeah. There's some that, have 2, and there's some that I think have like 8.
Right.
So, and no one's immune. No one's immune. You could be, obviously, if you're sitting at South Carolina, that's looking a little bit different right now, but even them, they're probably not going to be immune, depending upon what that looks like and what players are interested in. But, it's a different mindset right now. And so that strategy has to change. And there's been a lot of conversation about what that's going to look like specifically for us. It's really easy to kind of look out on the landscape and try to pick and choose about what other people are doing. It's kind of like I tell my kids, that's not our house. That's not our family. We got to look at what we're doing here and take care of business here. And, really our focus right now has been focusing on our current student athletes, the ones that, that are here as Ducks and have chosen to stay here as Ducks, and those that are interested in becoming Ducks. Mm-hmm. And a lot of that focus right now is looking at our incoming class, who's already committed to us. We have some really strong players. We have Katie Fiso coming from Washington. We have Faith coming from overseas. So we're really excited about them. We signed a great transfer already from Siena. And, that's another conversation. A lot of times people are like, oh, these mid-majors. I mean, if you look at the tournament right now, on both the men's and the women's side, a lot of people are, they like to kind of ho-hum on mid-major players. But a lot of times, these really talented student athletes that might not have been fully developed yet, coming out of high school or coming from overseas, they get picked up by these mid-major programs and then really get developed. And then we get to reap the benefits because they develop and then they come to us at this Power 5 level. So we're really fortunate in that case with her coming in. And then now this week we're going to have a few really good high-level recruits coming in. So we're really pounding it. Our coaches, bless their hearts, they spend a lot of time on the phone right now, a lot of time scouring the portal.
A lot of film review.
A lot of film review. A lot of film review. And a lot of quick film review because, even I was in the office last week and, it's as quick as someone enters the portal, they go really quick to see what film's available for them or even just scouring the stats. And it's legitimately a yell down the hall, we need to try to call this student athlete right now. And that happens within the course of anywhere from 10 to 30 minutes.
Yeah.
And that's just to really just make sure that you're at least in that text or voicemail thread for that student athlete, like who's getting on the horn fastest. So
it's quick, isn't it?
It's very fast.
Yeah, the off season moves quicker sometimes, I feel like, than the season does, and the season moves quick.
Right.
The way that modern collegiate sports, that's just the way it is now.
Well, and then people don't realize you only get so many visits.
Right. Exactly.
There's rules around that, so it's not like you just could start flying in recruits as many as you want.
Gotta be selective.
Yeah, you have to be really selective of, not only what's going to work for your program, but where you're trying to fill the holes, but you only get so many visits.
Senior Woman Administrator Val Johnson joining us. It's changed a lot, and it's going to keep changing.
Oh, for sure.
Right? Yeah.
In ways we can't even predict yet.
Right. That's the yeah. Quick time out. When we come back, we're going to get into more with the Deputy Athletic Director, Senior Woman Administrator Val Johnson, talking about a number of different topics. Back after this on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Deer Spring Showers. These tough Toyotas can handle whatever you got. The rugged Tacoma, trail-ready 4Runner, and the versatile RAV4 Hybrid turn your puddles into playtime. For more, visit Toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
As a local community credit union founded by teachers, OnPoint is committed to supporting the students and faculty at the University of Oregon. And on game day, we're right there with you, on the field, in the bleachers, and in the classrooms. Drop by our local branch today and discover the many ways OnPoint can help support your financial well-being. OnPoint Community Credit Union. People are the point. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal housing opportunity.
Deer Spring Showers. These tough Toyotas can handle whatever you got. The rugged Tacoma, trail-ready 4Runner, and the versatile RAV4 Hybrid turn your puddles into playtime. For more, visit Toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
Duck Insider continues after this timeout on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
You took the first step and quit smoking. But even former smokers may still be at risk for lung cancer. That's why SaveByTheScan.org wants you to know about a new low-dose CT scan that can detect lung cancer early. It takes only 60 seconds and could save your life. You took the first step, now take the next. Visit SaveByTheScan.org for a simple quiz to see if you're eligible and talk to your doctor about screening. SaveByTheScan.org is brought to you by the American Lung Association's Lung Force Initiative and the Ad Council.
My simple solution to the problem was remove people from the scene and help them feel safer.
In response to attacks against Asian Americans, Maddie Park raised over $250,000 to donate cab rides to the Asian community.
There is so much more work to be done. We really need to come together and tackle this issue as a community.
Support the Asian community. Learn how at lovehasnolabels.com. Brought to you by Love Has No Labels and the Ad Council.
Welcome back to Duck Insider, presented by OnPoint Community Credit Union. Joey Mack with you in the Country Financial Studio. Part 2 of our conversation before she traveled over to Amazon Park to check out Beach Volleyball Senior Day. Deputy Athletic Director, Senior Woman Administrator Val Johnson for Athletic Director Tuesday. Senior Day today. Volleyball in the spring. Indoor season is going to be back around before we know it. Matt Ulmer with some great energy over the weekend for Student Athlete Day. Really ESPN-esque production.
Our creative team.
Yeah.
Chef's kiss.
Yeah.
They did a great job.
Yeah. Before we know it, though, it's going to be volleyball time, and it sounds like season tickets, things are trending in the right direction.
I know. I'm just waiting to see what Coach Ulmer puts on the table this year.
Yeah.
I mean, last year it was the national anthem.
Right. Mm-hmm. I tried to get him to dye his hair green.
Who?
I
don't know. I mean,
that
would require bleaching.
That's how the national anthem came about.
Yeah,
He said, hey, if we break the season ticket record, I will do something. And I was like, dye your hair green. It washes out. It'd be fine. Like the spray dye. It'd be okay.
Yeah.
You know, he could take a shower. He'll be all right.
Oh.
And then he was like, no, you can't touch this.
Yeah, no.
And then he was like, well, I'd sing the national anthem on senior night. And he killed it, by the way.
He did
if
a great
you're
job.
unfamiliar, like, he did a great job. We think about him every day because his first career win volleyball is here in the studio.
Such a great one.
Yeah. He gave us this and said you have to display it at all times because he wants to be thought of every day.
Of course he does.
Right.
We love him.
Yeah. Coach Ulmer. But it's going to be here before you know it. A lot of excitement around that program.
So exciting. I mean, you know, it's just a testament to the sport. And I think especially for us now going into the Big Ten, you know, volleyball has such a huge presence in that conference.
Sure.
And so we're really, really excited to see what happens there. I mean, even just the planning right now around Volleyball Media Day in the fall, you know, that's going to be really, really exciting.
Cool.
And just really going to elevate the sport of volleyball, but specifically Oregon Duck volleyball.
Cool.
And so we're really looking forward to that. And of course, to be able to host Nebraska here and showcase volleyball in itself, but duck volleyball at that high level, and knowing that we have a very competitive program, and hopefully, you know, we'll be able to show the nation what we got right out the bat. So it'll be great.
That's cool. Women in Flight checking in on that program. Some fun news, exciting news around Women in Flight.
Fun and exciting news. So huge shout out to our Women in Flight team. A lot of you guys know Lexi Cross, Sam Berman, and then we also have our current Duck student athlete, Cammie, who participates on our acrobatics and tumbling team. They had a very tight battle against Baylor this past week. So that's our Women in Flight team, and they just launched an amazing campaign, Rising the Tide, for alumni giving for Women in Flight.
Cool.
And so that is live and well, so you should be getting information or go to our Women in Flight social feeds. And that is really a campaign to just help our women's teams just elevate and do all the things that they would like to do, whether it's equipment stuff that just kind of raises the bar. You know, it's like the extra things that they would like to do. So we're really encouraging people, tag your friends. They have a really cool campaign right now on their social feed for our alums, is like, you know, tag a teammate that was in your wedding, or tag a teammate that was your roommate, or, you know, just encouraging our former student athletes to give. And I always say, you know, there's no such thing as a too small of a gift.
Right.
You know, think about like forsaking your Starbucks for today, or you know, in my case, my McDonald's drive-through, you know, Diet Dr. Pepper. You know, whatever it might be, you know, those things add up. They truly do. And when you start thinking about, you know, alums and, you know, kind of that crowdsourcing of funds, it's really cool. And I think for our student athletes to know that that comes from their alumni peers is really, really cool. So that campaign is off and running. Go check it out on our Women in Flight social pages. It'll guide you right to those links and some really cool projects that our student athletes and coaches have identified to help rise the tide.
Awesome. Val Johnson, Senior Woman Administrator. What else? Anything else fans should know today? What did we miss?
There is so many things. I mean, it's just, you know, when it comes to spring, we got, you know, obviously we got our beach volleyball senior day today with our 4 amazing seniors there. Softball, I mean, they just killed it this week, you know.
That was fun.
That's always great.
Yeah. Rivalry wins are good. Wins are good. Rivalry wins are great. Yeah.
Yeah.
I hear you.
So there's just a lot of fun and exciting things. I mean, I think this time of year is just always exciting because, when you hit the spring, you're kind of getting to that time of year where you're winding down the academic year. Great things with track and field. We have on track and field National Student Athlete of the Week.
Yeah.
And set a national record in throws. I mean, that's just
and a near 4-decade-old Oregon record was broken a couple weeks ago.
I mean, it's hard sometimes, I always feel like especially with track and field, it's hard, I think, for the general Oregon fan to get out and watch and support.
Yeah.
That's hard.
There's very few events that are here in town, yeah.
Right. And so follow along, though. I mean, really follow what our track and field student athletes are doing. It is remarkable.
Yeah.
It is truly, truly remarkable. And I know, we like to highlight just that gym of Hayward Field, but what that does in regards to bringing in the world's top talent, it works.
Mm-hmm.
And the student athletes that we have here not only are representing the University of Oregon, I mean, they truly are the world's best. I mean, these are future Olympians. And so follow along, remember their names. These are the student athletes that will be representing our country or their home countries, and it's pretty spectacular.
Cool. Val Johnson with us. Hey, thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me.
A little bit of inside the show. We recorded earlier because you're actually live at Amazon Park right now.
Yeah, technically I'm right now.
Yeah.
While you're seeing me here, I'm actually out, toes in the sand.
2 places at once.
Mm-hmm.
That's Deputy Athletic Director level. Thank you for being here. Appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
Quick time out. Talking about softball. When we come back, the head coach, Melyssa Lombardi, joining us. They're traveling today, and then we had to find time to talk about the rivalry series win. Talking with Coach Lombardi next on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Dear Spring Showers. These tough Toyotas can handle whatever you've got. The rugged Tacoma, trail-ready 4Runner, and the versatile RAV4 Hybrid turn your puddles into playtime. For more, visit Toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
Hey Duck fans, we're all about protecting our home turf here in Eugene. You should do the same for your home with Country Financial Insurance. Most home insurance doesn't account for inflation, but with Country Financial, yours can. If something happens to your home, make sure you can rebuild the same house in the same place. Call a local representative or 866-COUNTRY and get a solid defense for your home. Home insurance policies issued by Country Mutual Insurance Company, Country Casualty Insurance Company, or Country Preferred Insurance Company, Bloomington, Illinois. Property must meet age and condition requirements, which vary by state.
Dear Spring Showers. These tough Toyotas can handle whatever you've got. The rugged Tacoma, trail-ready 4Runner, and the versatile RAV4 Hybrid turn your puddles into playtime. For more, visit Toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
Duck Insider, your home for the latest news on Oregon athletics on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Put your phone on D&D, that means that do not disturb when you're driving. And when you're going from point A to B, I need you to stay safe, please, so always sing with me. So put your phone on D&D, that means that do not disturb when you're driving. And when you're going from point A to B, I need you to stay safe, please, so always remember this beat.
Don't drive distracted. A message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, and the Ad Council.
Hey, son, how are you feeling?
I'm fine, Pops.
What's on your mind?
I can't explain it. Navigating without a compass, eyes waiting, started to wonder. Metamorphosis, loss of who you thought you is.
When your kid can't find the language, help them find the lyrics. Listen to the Sound It Out album and get tips and tools to start a conversation at sounditouttogether.org. Brought to you by Ad Council and Pivotal Ventures.
Back in the Country Financial Studio, it's Duck Insider presented by OnPoint Community Credit Union. I'm glad to be talking with Coach Lombardi again. Hi, Coach.
Hello.
So it's been like a month with the way the baseball schedule was, the way the basketball schedule was with the long postseason run. I haven't talked to you in a while, so what's been up? Huh? How are you?
Why are you dodging me?
I don't know. I don't know. It's the Tuesdays. Is Tuesday a busy day for you?
Every day is a busy day. Yes.
Right. Yeah. So game days are the busiest, right? You know, there's a lot of prep. Tuesday for us, it's just always worked out this way. Tuesday is the busiest day in like the broadcast division. So I'm just glad that I get to be back with you. How are things? What's been going on?
Good. Got a little series win.
Yeah. Hey, rivalry series win always feels great, right? Any series win is important.
Yes.
But it's got to feel good to win against the rivals.
Always. Always. Absolutely.
Keys to success. What did you take away from really what I thought was just an entertaining series to watch?
Well, I just look at our just history with them, and it's always like a lot of runs on the board on both sides. Last year was, the year before, like it's always like that. So it's about knowing that you just got to you got to stay with it through the long haul. Know that we're going to come out on top, but it's just going to be, throw a couple punches, throw a couple punches back, get up, throw a couple punches, and I felt like that's what our team did. I thought they were pretty resilient over the weekend.
With that in mind, I often talk about momentum in diamond sports, right? And how it's like, okay, you get a big out. Then if you put a run on the board, like, do you feel that in the dugout? Like, how do you handle that as a coaching staff, and especially in an intense series like this?
Yeah, that's all we talk about. That's all we talk about. It's about getting the shutdown innings and, we come up and score some runs, put something together. Definitely, we got to go get the lead off. Let's get a shutdown inning, 1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
And then just the ability to reset. Like we were challenged this weekend with not just our opponent. It was a tough. There were some breaks that we didn't get, and I thought these guys did a good job of just staying with it and knowing that we're going to come out on top.
So winning the series, I want to review a few things before a midweek matchup on a Wednesday, actually on a flight later today, and had time to come and chat with us after a big series win. So winning the series, have won 4 of your last 5 Pac-12 series. Tough to do. We'll talk about what that means in a moment. But I want to ask you about the clutch gene. So in sports, right, it's very hard as a stat guy to quantify the clutch gene, right? Well, in the diamond sports, I think it's easier. If you have a lot of RBIs with 2 outs, if you have a good batting average with runners in scoring position, I'd say that's the clutch gene. You scored 14 2-out runs out of 18 total runs scored. To me, that's the clutch gene.
We had a lot of clutch genes this weekend.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's big. And I think that's what we're known for.
Yeah.
We've been doing that, for these, not even just this year. These guys always know how to come up clutch with 2 outs. Usually 2 outs, it's tough. Yeah. And these guys came up really, really clutch. I look at that second game in the 4th inning. I think we brought 8 batters to the plate.
Yep.
It was awesome. These guys just kept passing the bat.
We were talking about this before you came in. Also, the fact that it's a different player who performed really well. It's like in game 2, Val Wong with a couple home runs, Eric Carlson, Renan Delgado gets home runs. And we've talked about this before, home runs change the game. And I felt like the power this weekend was really on display.
Yeah, it was really, really cool to see that power. It's tough to hit the ball out of the Jane. I mean, you got to really get after it. And to see their power, to see Katie Flannery come up with a big bomb for us as well. Another, you don't see the power, but just the table setting. Kai was brilliant all weekend long. She was on all weekend long. And when she does that, I think she gets things started. She sets the table. And then for these guys to come in and drive her in, we needed that.
On that note, I feel like every week we could ask you about Kai Lushar, right? It's just, and so it's just more of the same. But what does that say then about the consistency of her being able to set the table for you?
It tells you how really, really good and talented she is and how hard she's worked on her craft to get where she is this year. She's just really, physically she's got it, but just the mindset that goes along with it. It's, you think about leading off a game and it's like you're trying to get on, but then you don't want to change pitches. And she does a really good job of making the pitcher throw, but then also when she has an opportunity to bounce the ball and get on, she does. And then she turns a single into a double, and then now you have this group coming up to drive her in.
Yeah, and the average with runners in scoring position, again, that's important, right?
Yes.
That's the clutch gene. So game 3 then, I wanted to ask you a little bit about Alyssa Daniels. So here's how this goes. A 2-out double to tie the game in the 5th, followed by the go-ahead double, then by Emma Kauf. You talked about Katie Flannery hitting the home run. Alyssa Daniels also made a great play defensively in that game. What'd you see from her? And I know, post-game, she was pretty happy with the celebration. I thought that was fun hearing her describe her celebration post-game.
Yeah, you've been seeing her come up big all year long with her bat, and so I feel like she's known for her bat, but I think this weekend you really got to see how good defensively she is. She's been really, really good at first for us. She handles the short game really well. She's had some balls hit hard at her and just has made it look very, very easy. She turns double plays.
Yeah.
She's just really in a great place all the way around.
Diamond sport terminology always says that third base is the hot corner.
Mm-hmm.
Do first basemen take offense to that? Like, I mean, they're both the hot corner in some ways, right?
No, for sure. I mean, I think with just, you think of third base, you probably, I don't know, I'm sure, I guess you have a little more righties.
I guess more right-handed hitters. That's kind of what I've always thought, too. But I'm just saying, like, every now and then there's rockets at first base.
No, and what's tough is usually with a lot of left-handed hitters, this will give you a little bit for Alyssa. With a lot of left-handed hitters, they have power, but they can also drop the bunt.
Right.
So she'll play behind the bag with 2 strikes.
Yeah.
But on somebody that can hit and drop the bunt, she has to play in front of the bag and have the ability to cover both.
Well, to that point, like a slap hitter.
Mm-hmm.
It's a totally different defensive deployment, I feel like. Anyway, I just as I was thinking here, talking today with you about Alyssa, I'm like, I think anyone that playing first base gets a short end of the stick here sometimes defensively.
Yeah, she's been excellent. It's tough to play first base. Like I said, you just have some responsibility forward and back that you've got to be able to cover both.
Talking softball with head coach Missy Lombardi. See, this is the hard hitting. You get into the nitty gritty of the sport with us every Tuesday. How about pitching? Let's start with Elise Sokolski. Came on in relief in Game 3, 4 scoreless innings, and then that leads to the comeback win for the offense. Like, what'd you see? I mean, that had to be pretty impressive to come in and settle things down like that.
Loved it. The day before she pitched a little bit and was kind of up and down, and you could just see her really settle in. Game 3, and she's got really good stuff. Her ball moves really well. Her changeup is devastating. She throws the ball hard and soft, so you can't sit in between.
Yeah,
the spread's too big.
Morgan Scott, I thought impressive, getting the save in Game 2 and in Game 3. Closer mentality.
Yep, that's demon mode right there.
Yeah.
When she gets locked in, that's what the rest of the team calls her, and she just was locked in and was not going to be denied.
How difficult is it, too, in that situation? Like, they saw her in Game 2.
Uh-huh.
She comes in Game 3. Like, everyone makes adjustments. That's got to be a difficult spot in back-to-back days.
Yeah, they just saw you. But, one thing I think about a little bit is that it's a new day. We get, I always say this regardless of how umpires are behind the plate. It's always a new day. You get a new umpire. You get a new. It's just new.
Yeah.
It's not the same as the day before. And I think what's great is we get to watch a little video, and if they got us, get to see how, and if they didn't, just you're able to take a look at some things and go into it.
Yeah. Crowd. I mean, so for me, watching from Los Angeles and listening from Los Angeles, you could hear the crowd. How much of a difference did it make in a rivalry series?
I love our crowd. It'll never, ever get old playing at the Jane. I love hearing the rumble of the stands. Like I said, it was we had some things go against us, some calls that we felt like didn't go our way, and our crowd was they were on it. They were on it for us, and it was awesome.
Shout out to the 2,036 that were in attendance on Saturday. That's the best attendance of the year at the Jane.
Yeah.
Good job, crowd.
Yes,
well
thank you. Please keep coming back. We love playing in front of you. We love playing for you.
Makes a difference. So again, okay, now 4 of the last 5 series in the Pac-12 winners. You're coming into the week 4th in the Pac-12, but get this, a half game out of second. How tight's the pack right now?
Tight. It's tight. You need every single game, and every single game is so important.
4 of the last 5 Pac-12 series. You can't keep saying that because not every team is in that position. Won some close ones. Coming up at Grand Canyon, I said this kind of jokingly before you came on with us. That's just a 30-win team that's leading its conference, and you're playing them on a Wednesday and a midweek. So good scheduling.
Yeah. I don't know. I just think we have to be able to play this type of schedule, and we have to be able to play it right now. And to be able to, right now, our thoughts are not with Arizona whatsoever. Our thoughts are on Grand Canyon and going into that game. They're a tough, tough team. They're going to win their conference. They've, have a lot of great wins. So it's going to be a battle, and we're playing them at their place.
Right.
But those are the games that we need to play in order to be prepared for postseason.
It's been a common theme as long as I've talked with you. 6 o'clock on Wednesday. It's on ESPN Plus. Also, KWVA is going to have the call for all 4 games in the state of Arizona. I was going to ask you about Arizona. I won't because you're going to break them down on Thursday, right?
Exactly.
Great. So more on that on Friday's edition of Duck Insider. How about that? That worked for everybody? Cool. So KWVA is going to make the trip. All of the Arizona games are on the Pac-12 network. In general, what do you want to see? Keys to success. We always like to end with that.
I think this team's just in a really good place right now. They're understanding how to clutch up. They're really feeding off each other offensively and defensively. I think when we strike early, that makes a big difference. And just they're in a great place. They're playing well for each other, and I'm just excited to get back on the field.
All right, lastly, I said that was it, but I have one more for you. Pulling at the heartstrings a little bit for a lot of us. You had a lot of alumni in town this past weekend. Allie Bunker, Stevie Joe Knapp, Carissa Hovingay. Allie Bunker was a guest on the Pac-12 broadcast. Fun to hear from her. That had to be cool for you to have some of those back in town.
I love it. You know what? I felt like we had some alumni magic that went towards us getting the series. Carissa, her talking before Game 2, fired our team up. I think of Stevie Joe Knapp. She came to practice on Thursday. Cool. Fired our team up. Allie came. I'm like, Allie, go get your uniform on. Let's go. No, but same thing. They just all fired us up. And, we think about the 3 Bs and why we play and to have the before, our athletes that are before us that have, blazed the trail, just as fired up for us. Like, if they could have all went and put uniforms on, they would have.
Oh, yeah. No doubt.
So.
I imagine you'll have some alums around Arizona. I'm sure there's got to be a few that'll make the trip out. But I had to ask you that because I thought that was a cool connection.
I love it. Anytime these guys come back, I love it. Yeah. I love getting them back on campus. We love listening to them and, their time here and what their team did. And it's very cool.
Well, and I'll just say this. The alums are more happy, maybe happier than anybody that you beat the Dogs. Yeah.
I agree.
That's an alumni approach. Coach Lombardi, hey, thanks for being here. Really appreciate your time. Safe travels. It's a travel day. Still got a chance to catch up with you. Congrats on a series win. Here's to a few more.
All right. Sounds good.
Quick timeout. When we come back, spring football continues. Dylan Gabriel, the quarterback. Got to hear from him for the first time when we come back after this on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
As a local community credit union founded by teachers, OnPoint is committed to supporting the students and faculty at the University of Oregon. And on game day, we're right there with you, on the field, in the bleachers, and in the classrooms. Drop by our local branch today and discover the many ways OnPoint can help support your financial well-being. OnPoint Community Credit Union. People are the point. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal housing opportunity.
At Shadow Hills Country Club, we're more than just an award-winning golf course and practice facility. Our events team offers all-inclusive event pricing that allows us to take care of all the details while you enjoy your event. Our indoor and outdoor venues offer you a wide variety of fully staffed options that put the focus on you. From weddings to business and social events, at Shadow Hills Country Club Events Center, you get the benefits of a resort atmosphere and amenities in a peaceful country setting, just minutes from downtown Eugene. Call for a tour today or visit shadowhillsevents.com.
This is Duck Insider. Duck Insider on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Adoption of teens from foster care is a topic not enough people know about, and we're here to change that. I'm April Dinwiddie, host of the new podcast, Navigating Adoption, presented by Adopt US Kids. Each episode brings you compelling real-life adoption stories told by the families that live them with commentary from experts. Visit adoptuskids.org/podcast or subscribe to Navigating Adoption, presented by Adopt US Kids. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services Administration for Children and Families and the Ad Council.
Tom has been a teacher for over 40 years. One day, I think one of the students had asked the question and he didn't remember the answer. And I also noticed that he was letting his class out earlier than they were supposed to let out. I was really starting to worry.
Levi and I talked about how it would change our lives, but he was there beside me.
When something feels different, it could be Alzheimer's. Now is the time to talk. Visit alz.org/ourstories to learn more. A message from the Alzheimer's Association and the Ad Council.
Welcome back to Duck Insider, presented by OnPoint Community Credit Union. Joey Mack in the Country Financial Studio. The Ducks for Oregon baseball tonight, 4:45. Our pregame show, 5 o'clock start across the Oregon Sports Network. Well, Dylan Gabriel met with the media for nearly 15 minutes in his debut interview today. That means we won't get to all of it on this show, but we will have all of it for you tomorrow. Nonetheless, going to hear a bit from the quarterback who's wearing number 8, Dylan Gabriel. First time talking with the media here after practice today.
What was it about Oregon? Why you want to transfer to?
Yeah, I knew the opportunity. Talking with Coach Lanning and kind of what it all presented. It was really a no-brainer, and with everyone coming back and just kind of knowing what was coming in as well, it was just like I said, a no-brainer and a lot of fun. So.
What's the adjustment period been like for you? How are you liking Eugene so far?
It's been good. I loved Eugene. I love the area. It's closer to home, so I can't complain. And the adjustment period's been real. Being new to any place and kind of transferring, there's the ebbs and flows that you learn and grow through. But being where I'm at, in this my last year, it's been super refreshing to be able to have that.
And this group of guys, have you gotten to know a few of them well in these few weeks? What's it been?
For sure, time has flown, but a lot of guys, just the time spent together, and Coach Lanning does a good job of being able to keep us all close to one another and kind of maximize the time that we have. And I'd say we've gotten pretty close in the time that we've had.
How important was the history with Marcus and you being from Hawaii as well, the factor in your decision to come here?
It was huge. As someone you always look up to and, kind of as a quarterback from Hawaii, that was someone we always watched. And I love turning on the, TV and being able to watch him when I was younger. And now having, obviously, the relationship that we've had and just being able to text back and forth, that's something, as a little kid, I still smile and, don't ever take for granted. So I'd say in the decision process, it was just cool to kind of have that and being able to talk through it together. So
I know it's different programs, different coaches with him and it's here now, but did you pick his brain at all about coming here, of just what his thoughts were?
Yeah, I think more on the lifestyle side, our moms have connected and, they're just a great family. So been super helpful in terms of, where to stay, what to do and what to navigate, food spots and stuff like that. So I think the little things like that help a ton.
It does help a ton, doesn't it? Hey, when mom is happy, we're all happy, right? That's Dylan Gabriel, new Oregon quarterback. He met with the media for, seriously, about another 12 to 13 minutes. We'll have that for you on the show tomorrow, in addition to some other updates from spring football practice. Tony Tuioti, Duck defensive line coach, talked with the media, and a big hearty welcome to Rashad Samples, new running back coach, assistant head coach, announced from Dan Lanning earlier today. Beach volleyball senior day, Acro at Azusa tonight. Women's golf in action, baseball game day. See you at PK Park, 5 o'clock first pitch.
Victor deployed for the first time to Afghanistan in 2003. He sustained a moderate traumatic brain injury. One of the most important elements of caregiving is taking care of yourself.
For many military veteran caregivers, their caregiving journey starts earlier in life and lasts longer. Visit aarp.org/caregiving for a free military